All right, so we're gonna dig into we'll get basically divide things up in Marvel and DC. We have some extra things at the end.
Yeah.
Let's start with Marvel. What's going on right now is both James Gunn and Kevin Feige, they have big movies out, so they're doing a lot of interviews. So man, we're soaking up all this information they're giving out. So we're starting with Marvel.
Hmm.
We're learning about Spider-Man, and he says that Spider-Man's going to be just street level crime fighting. And one thing I really liked is he said this will be quote proper Spider-Man. I never thought about how the first three Spider-Man movies didn't feel like the Spider-Man I read about or the Spider-Man I played in the video games, but this one will be that. What do you think about that? And then when you hear that, what is the Spider-Man you're wanting to see then?
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal news. Spider-Man, again, and I've said it before, it has the greatest cast of villains, and they're all
Yeah.
grounded to an extent. Nothing's like taking over the fucking universe. I mean, one of
Hmm.
the craziest ones is Sandman, and this is just on top of my head. So it's not like we have a Thanos like just, you know, everything's being destructive.
Yeah.
So I love it. And the Spider-Man I want that we're gonna see all these is the animated series. Fucking
Yeah.
love that Spider-Man. Best fucking Spider-Man ever. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Between that or playing the PlayStation Spider-Man
There's
1
mine
game,
right there. I that boy,
there it is. That game,
I
man.
tell you, I'm a 30-year-old man walking around my house like pew, 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 shooting spider webs. I was so hyped on that game.
Man, I just went to the store recently and they had the Spider-Man 2, the original PlayStation, and I'm like, man, I
Yeah.
never played number two. I mean, I played the shit out of number one. It's like if they had
Right.
that, oh my gosh, that'd probably be worth so much money. But I mean, that's it, right? I mean, like shit,
Yeah.
we got your Venoms, got your Rhinos, got your whatever. That's just popping up, but it's staying grounded in a way. And that's what I want
Yeah.
to see. So, like, yeah, what I mean, obviously now that's Spider-Man you want, right? It was PlayStation 1, essentially, whatever. Is there something what do you think this movie would bring to be like, oh fuck, I'm back in my room and I just have the PlayStation controller in my hand?
Yeah. I think the key for that is feeling that Spider-Man could die.
Oh, okay.
Unlike Hulk, Thor, the Avengers.
Yeah.
They feel immortal in a lot of ways. Even Tony Stark, because he's
Yeah.
got a suit behind him somewhere. But Spider-Man, there are so many times where I'm like, man, come on, somebody help this kid. I feel bad for this kid.
Mm.
He's just Peter Parker, the high schooler, or whatever, the young adult who's just trying to make it. And I want to feel that again, which I will say that Tom Holland Spider-Man has done it in the past, but I want to feel it here. And when he's fighting against his Sinister Six, when he's got like
Mm.
overwhelming bad guys kind of teaming up, that's when it really happens. And so I really hope we get that again. And we have John Bernthal returning as Punisher for this movie.
Oh,
And so I'm
fucking
like,
sick daddy.
we're gonna definitely get a situation where Punisher's like wanting to just pop off some
Yeah.
random bad guy, and he's like, no, we have to do things the right way. But at a certain point, will he be tested and want to just go the Punisher route and kill somebody? Oh.
You think they would try to sync that to like a Brock symbiote type thing, like kind of turns bad maybe, and introduce
What
that?
would make Spider-Man do that? The
Yeah,
black
all
suit.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which we're getting Secret Wars coming up. Black suit
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
You know,
Yeah.
I would love a revamp of obviously the villains that we've had. Because
Yeah.
I want old school Eddie Brock. I love Venom. I love Venom. I'm not a Tom Hardy fan when it comes to Venom.
Okay. Okay.
I want just that beefy meathead Eddie, right?
Yeah.
Eddie. Uh, just like lifting weights and shit, and just challenging Spider-Man and getting
Yeah.
into him, not just like in the fights of like superheroes, but he always used to um on I don't know how do you say it, the civilian side, right? I'm thinking of like
Mhm.
non alpha superhero outfit, but like him interacting with his aunt or Mary Jane, like getting in his head in a different way where he like, oh, I can't expose that I'm Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and doing that. So I think the obviously the revamp of the villains is something that I'm gonna be looking forward to. I mean, you gotta do these villains justice, man. This is Hall of Fame villains.
I have a feeling the villain that I we might be getting the one I want to see the most is Mr. Negative because I think he's the least
Mm,
explored and could really open up anti-venom. Like he has so much of the Venom tie in
oh,
there.
okay.
And I just think he's like outright a good villain to kind of like be difficult enough for Spider-Man to have to just solo. Like I
Yeah.
think the other ones, I don't know. We've seen him beat up Rhino too many times for it to be a problem.
Hmm.
But Mr. Negative's hard for him to beat. I think that'd be a good
Yeah.
one.
Besides thinking that that would be a good one, what is the dream villain you want to see in the first one?
Oh gosh. I mean, I hate to say this, but I just want to see him go against Venom for three movies in a row.
Yeah. Because you said that make him feel like he can't be defeated, which there's been, runs of that. And it's like, obviously, you got my feet. gifted me one of the greatest comic books ever,
Yeah.
which is Venom holding Spider-Man's skull in his hand. It's like,
Yeah.
give me that, Dad, and you don't give me that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm with you. I mean, start off strong, start with one of the greatest villains with the Spider-Man universe.
Yeah.
Put a proper Venom in there.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
that's the way to go.
yeah.
Moving on, we have Avengers Secret War. He has confirmed. Okay, so that's coming out in 2027. He says that after that, they are going to do a reset for the MCU. So they have
Mhm.
plans out until 2032. And after this reset, there's a couple things going to be going on. They're going to be shifting from to fewer movies and far less Disney Plus shows. He says that he admits they were doing quality over quantity, and that a lot of the problems with like
Or
Thunderbolts. He thought
quantity over
Thunderbolts was
quality.
like such yeah, he said Thunderbolts was such a good movie. A lot of people didn't see it because the characters were from Disney Plus shows. He says that was stupid of us, and we should have
Hmm.
introduced a lot of those characters in movies. Um, so they're going to be bringing down the budgets, making them feel more grounded, like a Deadpool, like a Thunderbolts, and less movies, more quality. And they're going to be actually recasting some of the major characters, like Iron Man and Captain America. And like he said specifically, they're going to keep what works and release what doesn't. What's your input on that?
Yeah, so the I think it's a great idea, right? The
Hmm.
quality over the quantity. You're saturating the universe. People are fatigued, and the superhero fatigue is real. I've experienced it myself. I just don't care what's being released on Disney Plus. There's multiple series that I just don't care to watch.
Yeah.
Um, you know, uh, time is limited, and I don't have time just to watch garbage. Or,
Hmm.
maybe if it's not up to par, like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
if the reviews aren't there, then I just don't have the time to even
So
pay
that's that
attention
part.
to it.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah.
could just have your own opinion. Oh, fuck, bro. Time is limited. Okay.
Time is limited. That's fair. Yeah.
I'll share the opinion. Now, what I don't like though is how much of the comparison we're gonna have. Marvel. You peaked, man. You peaked. Okay. You put out the greatest superheroes that you already had, and they're lasting for how much they're beloved, right?
Yeah.
When I saw that they're gonna recast essentially the Captain America and Iron Man essentially tells me you don't know what to do anymore. That's how I'm taking it. I'm staying on the side for argument purposes.
Okay.
You don't know where to go anymore. Okay.
For argument
You
purposes, I'm going to try to counter you, but go
yeah,
ahead, keep going, build your
yeah,
argument out.
yeah. Because essentially, like, it just tells me that you ran out. Again, you don't know where you're going. The heroes that you have, they're not going to pull anything. Your new
Yeah.
Avengers, there's no one exciting there that is going to pull anything because they're all just secondhand characters. So what are we going to do? We're going to give you Captain America and like Iron Man again. And it's like,
Yeah.
man, the comparison are going to be there. I maybe you can get a Captain America. Maybe you can. No problem. Another actor. But man, not seeing fucking Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man is gonna hurt a little bit.
A little bit.
Just
Yeah.
saying. Yeah. What's
Okay.
your counter? Let's hear it.
Here we go. I'm
Okay.
writing down dates as you're talking. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
First Iron Man came out in 2008. It's sad that I know all these dates. Came out in
Man.
2008. Yeah. So when this reset happens, he says 2032. So it'll be about almost 20 years, right? Essentially, the distance between Iron Man coming out and when they're going to do the reset is the distance between Star Wars and Phantom Menace. So
Okay.
it's going to feel like an entire new generation. That
Yeah.
movie is not going to feel like you're replacing Iron Man. It feels like we're going to get a new Iron Man. And you and I both, as comic book readers, see this all the time. Hickman's got to run. Oh, I love Hickman's Fantastic Four. He's done. Now I'm gonna watch. Now I'm gonna read Ryan North's run. It doesn't mean that Hickman's run doesn't exist. It's just that now there's a new voice doing it, and so we get a
Yeah.
new take on the characters. I think it's important going forward that a lot of us who talk about these movies a lot, especially in production, see it as we're not replacing Iron Man because there's gonna be so many people who are gonna hate on it for the sake of clicks and stuff.
Hmm.
But if you see it like, hey, it's a new artist, it's a new director, it's a new take on Iron Man, we might see something we like, maybe a more
Yeah.
grounded Iron Man, or maybe a superior, close to something like Superior Iron Man.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel right to us because we're so indoctrinated into these movies, like they just keep coming. But the time difference will be that of a normal reboot cycle. Again,
Yeah.
Star Wars to Phantom Menace, really.
Yeah, but you brought up Star Wars, but nobody's being replaced in Star Wars. Okay. They're just being the story is
Yeah,
continuing. So
that's
besides
fair.
that though, uh
Yeah, it's not
let's see
like
what else
Phantom
I'm trying
Menace
to
had
find.
a new Han Solo and a new Luke
Exactly.
Skywalker. That's fair.
Exactly. And when
Completely
they
fair.
did it, they did like the young, Han Solo.
Yeah.
Um, it's almost like it's hard to see the movies as comics because you're right. I could pick up a different series of a comic and like one of my favorite ones, and I keep saying it too. Oh, Captain America dies and Bucky becomes the next Captain America. Okay, yeah, no problem. But
Fantastic.
somewhere that exists, and
Hmm.
it's not thinking like Steve Rogers still my Captain America.
Yeah, of course.
That's easy. I think it might be hard. I mean, I feel like there's still little kids out there wearing, seeing Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, and like
Yeah.
that like marketing or whatever the I don't know what you would call it, whatever it's lasted so long, so it's hard to
Hmm.
just wrap my head around something that you're just gonna have to recreate because it feels like you don't know what you're doing anymore.
And that's Marvel's fault,
But anyway,
frankly, for not letting the movie stop. They're continuous. So
hmm
Iron Man is still being echoed even in Ironheart that just came out. So
yeah,
a
yeah,
movie that came out in '08 is still being referenced this year in
hmm
2025. And there was no movie in between. I mean, there was the Ewok bullshit, but like nobody really watched a movie that was Star Wars focused in
Echo.
1995.
All
They
right, yeah,
just kept
yeah, yeah,
re-releasing the first movies.
yeah,
And so on VHS, well, the collector's editions and stuff. So totally, totally fair. And I bought them
yeah.
all. Totally fair. But I think it's just I really feel like we do have to start looking at comic books, and I think DC's the one that's really doing a really good job with that with the Superman, the way that James Gunn talks about DC. It feels like it's gonna be comic book oriented, and I think Marvel
hmm
needs to embrace that and start going with that too.
yeah,
Because man, like I said, I love certain Batman iterations.
hmm
Grant Morrison Batman, I'll read it all day. Frank Miller Batman, read it all day. But there are some that I don't care for. The
yeah,
Batman Who Laughs stuff, I don't remember who wrote that. I wasn't a big fan of it. And so you just skip it, or you just don't give it as much credence as you do other things.
yeah.
I think we're gonna have to do that with the MCU as well.
Do you feel like maybe it's better to get a different? I mean, I guess it could be like a iteration of the character itself. So like, or maybe it's just not successful, right? Because I don't know how well the Falcon will do. I'm talking box office numbers and stuff like that as the
Yeah,
next Captain America compared to like, oh, maybe what Bucky could have done to being the next Captain America, or like Invincible Iron Man, if I'm remembering right, where it's Doctor Doom who's Iron Man now, essentially, like
for a
he looks,
stretch, yeah.
if I remember it, yeah, like that might be too far out of the Iron Man way, but do you think maybe that's just not being successful because of what we're seeing now? Like they can't
I think
continue,
I think
yeah.
those are good Elseworld stories. Like that's what DC's
Okay.
kind of setting up to have those Elseworlds. I think Marvel could totally do that. Um,
hmm
I do believe, and Kevin Feige was talking about this. Like they just kind of just made too much stuff. They're gonna one of the focuses that they're gonna make things less interconnected, especially with Disney Plus.
hmm
So what if instead of being, oh, I need to watch Ironheart so that I can be introduced to Mephisto, so that I could be, ready for the next Secret Wars? What if instead, oh, they have a new series coming out called Immortal Hulk, where Hulk and his Hulk
Oh,
is
do that to
gonna
me.
go against, the Avengers and try to split the world in half with a smash. And it's just like, oh, it's just a series. It doesn't have to be canon. It's just a series over there. And
Mm,
like it's just an Elseworld story, like a what if, but a little
yeah.
bit grander than that. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be funny because people are going to yearn for like the overarching arc, right?
Of course. And they
But
can have
man,
that,
wonder
but
if something takes over like an Immortal Hulk, right? People are going to fall in love with that thing.
yeah.
But I think my one problem with that is that are we going to be lazy and just do not lazy, I'm sorry, but just do the animated thing? Because I don't think it's going to go as well as long as if you have a live action Immortal Hulk.
Yeah.
Let's just say Immortal Hulk because you threw it out there. I mean, I really enjoy Immortal Hulk, but I mean, if you have the live action version of it instead of animated version, I'm gonna be well more invested in, like, really excited to see that movie or
It's
show.
it's tricky, right? Because I think the animated stuff is very good,
hmm
but it will not pull the numbers that a live action will. That's just
Exactly.
obvious.
Yeah.
And I think the way Kevin Feige and even Bob Iger at Disney are looking at Marvel now, it's about doing what works. I mean, that's like I called it so long ago when Bob Iger came back. We're getting a new Iron Man and a new Captain America in no time. Here's the announcement.
Mm.
And so I think that we will get things that make more money. If it makes more money to do live action, we'll get a live action. And I think it just does. So I think we would probably get like more live action
Yeah.
series, but a smaller budget. Could you imagine a Hulk where we're seeing Bruce Banner and like in the reflection he's seeing Hulk all the time as he's like trying to fight with his inners. I fucking love when they do that in the comic book
Oh
so
yeah.
much.
Okay. I see what you're
Where
saying.
he's like he sees
Yeah.
in the he's like shut up Hulk or whatever. He's like always we could
Yeah.
have a lot of that and it saves on money to do that. So,
Yeah.
there's loopholes for
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. As long as the story is there, right? Because we saw with Daredevil, with the latest season, not a lot of Daredevil action going on, but I was really locked into the story the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah.
So, It could work.
And
Yeah.
because they let the villain breathe in that too. Like that's another thing when you
Hmm.
can lower down the budget. We don't need to see Thanos slamming things. Maybe we could see Thanos explaining his policy a little bit more, which I
Yeah.
think was actually quite good. Like we
Yeah.
actually start to really
I'm not so
fear
against
Thanos for the right
it.
reason.
Yeah.
Which Thanos isn't the right. Which, by the way, that was another thing he said. Which I'm like, okay, sure thing.
Hmm.
He said that they already planned on replacing Kang before the Jonathan Majors stuff came out because they were
Oh,
right. They were. This is what he says. They were realizing Kang's not Thanos. Nobody was grabbing on to Kang like they were Thanos, so they needed to quickly get a big name fast. I don't know if I totally 100%
yeah.
believe that.
I don't believe that. I think no, you're so bullshit. It's
Yeah,
not that at all the reason.
yeah.
But I mean, they're not wrong though. I mean, I don't
No,
see King
they are
as
right.
taking over Thanos level
No, yeah.
movie. Like I don't see that.
Yeah. Frankly, the only thing I care about with Kang is like introduce Iron Lad. I think Iron Lad's a very cool character.
Hmm.
Bring him in now. And the idea of an Iron Man, like person who's a Reed Richards descendant and will eventually become evil like Kang. Like that's just such a cool story to tell.
Yeah, yeah,
Do it. So hopefully they do eventually bring an Iron Lad.
yeah.
Last thing with the Marvel is Jake Schreier is confirmed to be directing the new MCU X-Men reboot. That's the director who just did Thunderbolts. The new series or the new movie franchise will be focused on a younger demographic. He wants to avoid telling Fox era storylines. Fox told a lot of really good storylines though. What do you
Hmm.
think?
Yeah, a lot of storylines that put me to sleep. This needs to happen. Okay. No, the X-Men like universe now is so like just convoluted now. It needs
Yeah.
to just like, hey, just drop everything, start fresh. We're talking like a younger roles, right? I think for this one.
Younger cast
Younger,
and
yeah.
younger demographic, as in they're aiming for younger kids as well. So not younger
Yeah.
kids, but like more. They don't need to play the '90s theme song every time X-Men's on screen. Basically,
They should
no,
though. Well,
they
that's gonna
gave
be
us
tough.
X-Men '97.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough though, right? Because how do you get behind? I'm just gonna put a picture out there, like a fucking 13-year-old Cyclops X-Men to me, and like,
No,
no,
I don't think
bitch,
that'll be the
make it
case. But a
hyper first.
22 to 25-year-old Cyclops, instead
Okay.
of like us, we currently have one that we're excited to see that's like 50s. So, you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Which is like, all right, that's fair. As a kid, I
yeah,
would see that as an old man.
yeah,
So it's good to have a younger version, I guess. Like
yeah,
X-23, I think, is kind of the right age, right? To be this new level of X-Men.
yeah. Because I mean, I could even see like what was that horror type X-Men
New
that kind of
Mutants.
came New Mutants, yeah.
Yeah.
I could see those type of characters being at the younger age. It's just really tough for me to kind of get like a Jean Grey and a Wolverine, and I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the villains gonna be looking like now? Are these gonna be like adultish? Are they gonna be younger too? We're gonna have like fucking a 20-year-old
No.
Juggernaut, you know?
No, 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 no. I would say
Yeah.
that it actually plays better to have older villains because then you have that rebelling against the status quo in a way. So like
Yeah.
first off, I think the first villain you bring out is Sinister. Like been too damn long since we've had
Oh,
Sinister.
okay. Yeah,
He
yeah.
is too sick. Bring
Yeah.
Sinister out. And I'm saying, hey Henry Cavill, what are you up to, buddy? You know.
Oh, Henry Cavill again. My
Hell
kid.
yes. And then if we bring in I'm saying like okay, maybe 30s, like younger 30s, level X-Men against Henry Cavill. Oh shit, I'm watching that. As Sinister? Oh my God, yeah. That's a good idea.
You got to do it like one of those AI generated Henry Cavill Sinisters because I'm just not seeing it. I gotta say.
I'll send you one.
Shit.
Nudes or not nudes?
Yeah,
Let me open my save folder. Hold on.
shit. That's
That's
funny.
gonna be a skin for Marvel Rivals in no time.
Yeah. Oh man, Sinister and Marvel Rivals. Now you got me thinking about that. Oh
That
man.
would be sick. Oh my God.
So that'd be cool to do something that's not Magneto. But are we
Yes,
gonna get Magneto to like wonder if we get Magneto and in a time frame where he's working with Charles?
exactly. What if
Yeah,
Magneto and
right.
Charles are still on the same side?
Yes.
And
And
then we
then
start to see that
maybe
strain, like they work. Like, no,
yeah.
that's too far. I don't
Yeah.
know. Magnus versus, gotta get those conversations going.
Yeah, and then being Sinister being the main villain. I would like that. And then you kind of branch off because okay, now we got our Magneto,
Yeah, and we could do
when
Goblin
they
Queen if we
fully
have
separate it.
Sinister. We could do Goblin Queen storyline too with the
Okay,
Jean
okay.
Grey clone and Cable coming
Oh, okay,
in.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot you can do with the X-Men characters. There's so many of them, and
yeah.
I'm kind of, yeah. I mean, we'll see if this younger cast works. I mean, yeah,
I hope it works well. I hope
yeah,
I hope they bring in some like second tier that we know are worth being first tier X-Men. Psylocke, really good one.
Yeah.
Magic, bring her in. She's
Heck
so
yeah.
good.
Yeah. Heck
So
yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm.